Hello and welcome to Ash Reviews in English, another TLDR look at whatever it is I reviewed, where I force myself to say something good, something bad, what I think is the best and what I think is the worst, all in an abbreviated format, at least I try to be abbreviated, and all in my own opinion, of course. And today it's the Hidizs MP145. Now these IEMs have been sent to me by Hidizs. They're actually just been launched on Kickstarter a couple of days ago, but I've had them for some weeks now. They were sent up from me to check them out and to share my opinions more or less around the date of launch, along with a bunch of other reviews, I'm sure. But I have no affiliation with Hidizs, and if you want to know more, check out the full review, which is linked in the description, or just head over to ashreviews.com. Okay, so starting off with something good. Now, in general, the package of the IEMs is good. It includes plenty of stuff, they're really well built, and in my opinion, they look good as well. But if you notice, the design of the shells is based, according to Hidizs of course, is based on the tail of a whale. And that is, again, according to Hidizs, because they're collaborating with WDC. WDC is the Whale and Dolphin Conservation. Now, they explain a bit more, and also in the written review, I explain more about it, or I share a text they shared with me. But basically, they're collaborating with them to save dolphins and whales. Long story short, that's what they're doing. And I have to applaud that. I mean, as somebody who spent a lot of time at sea, it's great to see somebody actually helping out to try and save our oceans. Now, whether it will be a great collaboration or a little collaboration or whatever, it doesn't matter. Every little helps. And it's great to see people actually cooperating and trying to help out. And I have to applaud that. Now, moving on to something bad. Well, something bad could be the size. I mean, they're rather large, they're rather heavy. They're not overly heavy, but they are heavier than other sets of IEMs. And as you can see, they are pretty big. Now, that doesn't affect comfort for me personally because most of it sits outside the ear, but you do need to understand that these are pretty big IEMs. Now, the best. Well, the detail and the performance of the IEMs in general is good. They're decent IEMs. And they come with these 3 filters along with 3 different types of tips, one vocal, balanced and bass. They also come with these 3 sets of filters which change the tuning of the IEMs slightly to different people's tastes. In the written review, there's graphs if you want to find out exactly what they do. And there's not a huge difference. There's a bigger difference between the red ones and the others. There's not a huge difference between them, less so as I say between these 2, but enough to be noticeable and enough to just tweak the sound to your personal liking, which I think is probably the best thing about these IEMs. In general, as I say, they perform well, but they give you that little extra tweakability. Now, the worst for me personally, I mean, I don't like the red tips, red filters, red nozzles, whatever you want to call them. I'm not a fan. Not because they're bad. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who opt for those and like those. But for me personally, it lacks a bit of presence in the vocals and focuses too much on the lower ranges. And people who have seen my reviews know that I'm not a huge bass fan. They do manage to not be dark though, which is good. There's enough treble to actually keep things open and clean. Now, with the other 2, I prefer them much more. I actually prefer the gold ones over the silver ones, but they're similar. The worst thing in it for me is there's a presence up to like 2K, it's 2 kilohertz, which is good. It gives you enough presence for vocals and so on. But then it sort of dips down and just comes back in a little peak at 5K. And I am very sensitive to peaks at 5K. Now, it's not an exaggerated peak. If you look at it on a graph, it's actually below my preferences at 5,000 hertz. But because there's dips around it, it's just a single peak, it makes it more exaggerated, and I find vocals harsher because of that peak. But really, that, as I say, that's really the worst thing about it, which is easily fixed with the EQ and also doesn't affect most people. It's more me that's actually sensitive to that specific frequency. But anyway, I go into a lot more detail about how they sound, the differences between them, all kinds of things. If you want to know more, check out the full review. As I said, link to the description, or head over to ashreviews.com, and I'll be back with another one soon. See you later.